Hello and welcome to the channel. Thanks for dropping by. Today we're going to take a look at this watch, the Chenxi CX-8222. But just before we do, just a quick shout out to Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch here on YouTube. Thanks for watching the videos and the feedback. Really appreciate it. I'll put a link into Wes's channel. Go and take a look. He's been doing this a lot longer than I. He's got a lot more watches to play with, but I'm hoping to get there. Anyway, on with this one. So the CX-8222, obviously it's a homage of the Patek Phillipe Nautilus. Well, kind of, because it's kind of a mix of the Nautilus and the Aquanaut. And the reason I say that is the Nautilus has the date down at the 6 o'clock. It's the Aquanaut that has the date at the 3 o'clock. Now the Aquanaut doesn't have these shoulders, what it has on the left anyway. It doesn't have that left one. It does with the crown, but this one has it on, which is more of a Nautilus style. So it's kind of a mixture of the two. It's a quartz watch. I got it from AliExpress. It's available in other colours, a green, which I don't think they actually do in the Nautilus, a black and a white. So I'll put a link in the description anyway. Let's say I got it from AliExpress, cost about £13, $15, give or take. It's a really nice watch. So in the classic sort of Patek Philippe style, we've got a 40mm dial. Now, it's 45 if you include the shoulders and the crown, so just bear that in mind. It does wear bigger than a 40mm, particularly with that shoulder just on the left. 47mm lug to lug, and then the strap is 24mm coming off those, so you're not going to be swapping this out. It's kind of an integrated bracelet. So you won't be dropping this onto a NATO very easily. I don't think you would anyway. This style of watch I think is designed to be on a bracelet. Now, apparently the site says it's 14mm thick. I don't know where they got that from. It's actually 10.5mm thick. It's not a particularly thick watch. At the end of the day, pretty standard for the quartz. And it weighs 113 grams. Now, part of that will be down to the bracelet being hollow, which will save that a little bit of weight. Now the body is stainless steel. It is polished on the sides and the top of the body, but the bezel has this brushed effect on it. Now I think it's meant to be a fine brushed effect, but actually it's quite deep. It's more of a scored effect. I don't think they were probably after that. They were probably after a slightly finer finish, a little bit like the Nautilus. However, it's a little bit, you can probably just see it there. It's very obvious when it's on your wrist, shall we say. I'm looking at it closely. You won't notice it from a distance, but I'd imagine that's deeper than they probably would have wanted it. But it goes with it. It looks really nice, and I'm really pleased with it. Crystal is Hardlex. It's slightly raised above the bezel. Obviously no anti-reflective on there, which is what you can see the roof. But it looks really good. So the dial, we've got this blue ridged effect, very much like the Nautilus. There is a sunburst on there. It might be difficult to get that to actually show on here, but there is a sunburst on there when you see it, or you can just see it there in real life. It looks nice. I like the blue on it. We've got Chenxi printed on top of that, and nothing underneath the pinion, so there's no mention of quartz or water resistance on this one. We've got a date window, which isn't colour matched, and nor is it framed, which I think is a bit of a shame. Then round the outside, we've got the indices, which are edged in silver, and those are loomed, and I'll show you the loom in a minute. And then at the top of that, we've got a double indices, which marks the 12. And in between those, we've got little dots for the minute markers. Now hands, we've got the hour hand is a Mercedes style, whereas the minute hand is more of a fence post, which is more like the Nautilus. The Nautilus doesn't have Mercedes-style hands. And then the seconds hand is a needle with a little lollipop just towards the top, which is loomed as well. I'll just put a picture up now of the loom. The loom on this is really quite good. I really like it when the indices are loomed as well as the hands. It looks really good and lasts quite well as well. Several hours. So the case back is pressed on, stainless steel. It says water resistant there, but it doesn't actually mention it's 30 meters water resistance is stated. And there's its model number, CX-8222. Pretty clean, simple. So the strap is hollow. It's got this matte H-link effect, which is matte on the outside, and then the center link is polished. But these aren't articulated. It's actually one link if you look at it. Those aren't articulated at that point. They'll only pivot on the next pin down. Say hollow. It does rattle a little, but it's not too bad, to be quite honest. Normal just push through pins. It's not a hair nipper, and it is quite a long strap. Double butterfly. Now, I have an 8-inch wrist, and I didn't need to take any links out of this, so if you've got a larger wrist, you'll be fine. If you've got a smaller wrist, you may need to take that out just to make it fit correctly. Obviously, it being a butterfly, there's no micro adjust on there. Butterfly doesn't dig into the back of your wrist either on this particular one. Here it is on my 8-inch wrist. Fits really nicely. As I say, didn't have to remove any links at all. So if you've got a smaller wrist than me, you probably will end up doing that, but you have got a bit to play with. I think it looks really good. I think the blue looks really good as a bit more of a casual sort of look. If you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, maybe. If you wanted the more smarter one, I'd probably go with the black or the white. It's a good watch for £15. It's a classic look, and I'm really pleased with it. A couple of niggles. I think they should have framed the date window. If they were going to put one in, you might as well have just framed it. I think it would have made it look a little smarter. The matte bracelet, they get away with it, but there's nothing you can do about it if you wanted to. I'm not quite sure it works that well. But, as I say, nobody really notices that, to be quite honest. And the other one is the dial itself. It looks a little plasticky. It might look better in the black. It might not be so obvious that it's a plastic dial. But I really like it. If you're after that look, it's great. I'd recommend it. I've got a couple of other watches that have just come in, which I'll put at the end of this video. If you're after a business watch, I'll show you those. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.